How you doing, YouTube? Matt, Massive Beer Reviews, back to yet another review. A little bit of, Nevada jams in the house, courtesy of Pat. Thank you very much, brother. It is Revision Brewing's Mystic Topaz. This is a IPA, New England style, hazy India Pale Ale, 7% alcohol by volume. The big story on here, it says, when you feel like you're so full of life and your soul is ready to jump out of your body with happiness, that means you must be doing something great. Love wins, and with us and our love for hops that unites, this brew leads with Citra and Mandarina Bavaria, along with a little dose of Galaxy for a good measure, making a heavy, sweet orange side of the flavor spectrum. Down and down. Yeah, it was. I like it. Just a big splash of like fluids, water, beer, whatever you want to call it, and multicolored, kind of almost like Rastafarian kind of colorations. I kind of like it. You know, I dig it. A lot of their cans I've had have like very vibrant colors to them. I can get down with that. Okay, we're talking about this being like a New England style hazy IPA. It's not all that hazy, to be perfectly honest with you. Even on the pour, I mean, it does have a haze to it, but it's not like that super thick, kind of crazy haziness that you see out of a lot of breweries. You just have under a pinky finger of almost bone white head, and it's got a soft yellow glow to it, a little bit of rich orange in the center, but I definitely can see a little bit of light through there. It's not the most clearest of beers, obviously, but it's also not the most densest of beers either. So, is she hazy? Sure. As I've seen hazier before, absolutely. Get a nose on her. Yeah, there's just it's like a very sweetened, almost candied version of like an orange. There's something else in there fruit-wise, but I just can't really get it. It's not that big of a nose. It's very muted, very small. You get that little bit of candied, kind of orange, candied citrus thing going on there, and this soft, super generic bitterness around the edges, and that's pretty much it. Definitely has a very, very, very light, impactful. Less impactful. How about that? Nose than you'd expect from something of its ABV and what it's trying to be. Let's dive in. Cheers. Yeah, pretty much comes through exactly the same way in the taste. It's not a bad beer. It just comes off a bit thin, especially for 7%. You do get a soft bitterness. Again, it's quite generic. That citrus is not as candy as I thought it would be, but it's sweet, and it's pretty much the driving force in the whole beer. Definitely orange, but it's almost like a watered down orange juice as opposed to like a really sweet candied orange juice. So it's a watered down Sunny D more than anything else. And that soft bitterness, a little bit of kind of like a little biscuity malty character kind of floating around in there too. A little bit of hop astringency in the tongue. Done and done. There's really not much to it after that. It's pretty much just falls, I don't want to say flat, but it's just, leaves much to be desired. This is the third beer I've had from Revision. The first one was our Funky Disco or something, Disco Ninja, I think it was called. This is where that one kind of landed for me. I was like, okay, it kind of tastes okay. Now, I had was it a double IPA I had the other day. It was against one sent from Pat, and that one was pretty damn good. So I kind of had high hopes for this one, but just kind of missed the mark. It was just, I don't know, there's no date on here. I don't see one, so I can't tell you how old it is, but it just seems like it had lost a little bit of luster over time, or it just came out this way, because it's not a negative beer. There's nothing like off flavors to it, or it doesn't taste like there's super like dated hops to it or anything like that. So I think it's just a matter of just sometimes they hit and sometimes they miss. Maybe they're just kind of a little bit more it's a little bit easier when you're at those higher ABVs to kind of bring a little bit of heat, and maybe when they start getting to the lower and stuff, it becomes a little bit more difficult to be impactful. That's where that kind of separates the greats from the learned, I guess you'd say, and maybe that kind of falls on the spectrum. But not a bad beer, just kind of like, a kind of a head in 1,000, crowd of 1,000. There's so many beers to kind of weed through in these hazy IPAs that this one kind of falls in that kind of lost in the shuffle kind of thing. So let's talk about it. It's one of the better 7% IPAs that I've had as of late. No. It's not a bad beer by any means, but just there's been much better. Value and availability, no idea. Maybe Pat can chime in and leave you with, if you like what, we like this. If you like, if you're out in the that way, it's probably going to do you proper quite a bit because, I don't see a lot of beers coming out of that area. But if you like the hazy IPAs, and this is a shelfie, I don't know if it is or not, but if this is something you can yank off the shelf, it's going to be something pretty decent. It's not even up there with some of the greater shelfies, like the Wrenches of the world or no filters of the world, but it's tasty nonetheless. So, if you were out and about, you see it on the shelf, pick it up. It'd be a fun kind of dig if you never had at any of their beers, or even if you're at the brewery. It's definitely something I'd order there to see if there's any kind of difference. Maybe it's a little bit better on draft. I don't know. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there, if you want to talk about it, Massive Beers, if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive, if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little West Coast-ish beer right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.